guy.
I'm Richard Dean Anderson, and Ellie has asked me to ask you to stay tuned for breakfast with Ellie and me, and nobody else. Not even her fiance.
Welcome back. Well, check him out. With his mullet, leather jacket and freakish ability to solve almost any conceivable problem, MacGyver was arguably the most heroic TV hero of the 80s. And now, 30 years on, the 7-year series maintains its cult status.
It certainly does. And this weekend, the man behind Mac, Richard Dean Anderson, is here in Auckland for the Armageddon Expo. I was lucky enough to catch up with him yesterday. I recently watched the pilot
Of what?
of MacGyver.
Really?
Yeah.
God, I haven't
It's on
seen
YouTube.
that.
And it starts off with, I don't know how clearly you remember, these amazing sort of, I guess, helicopter shots, cliffs, very dramatic. You're sort of scaling the side of some cliff and you basically take out all the bad guys and then rescue your friend. But when you emerge from the top of this cliff, you're trying to disguise yourself. MacGyver is wearing a bright red beanie.
Not just that. Well, I wasn't trying to disguise myself. I was wearing climbing gear. But yes, I do remember. And I don't know if you noticed the beanie, but it had a huge ball on the top of it.
Yes, yes.
Like, you know, it's Christmas time in the well, where were we? Utah, I guess.
Yeah.
But yes, I do remember that. And just, I loved picking out the anachronisms of that. Was more just kind of an oversight, I think, by somebody, but it was like the first shot we shot for MacGyver.
How well do you remember that time? Do you remember all the scenes that you filmed, and do you have standout MacGyver moments that you thought went too far into the realm of ridiculousness?
My favorite one, was, in retrospect, was, I don't know if you remember, but we did a lot of voiceover to
I remember it well. It was my whole childhood.
It was my nightmare, I swear to God.
It should take at least 90 seconds for the security people to get up here. About enough time for me to get into Catlin's.
But I remember the anachronism we're talking about, or I talk about all the time, is I was like trapped in a jail or something, and somehow I had to get out, and there was a bicycle just outside the door. And there's nobody around, so I tied probably shoelaces, I don't know, and something else together to get the end of this get this bicycle over to him, to cut the bars open. The voiceover explained the situation, that if I had a bicycle that was made out of magnesium and also blah, 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 then you can make yourself a torch. And I just absolutely love that one, because if you can find me a person in this world that has a bicycle made of magnesium, I want to meet him.
Of course, Patty and Selma, the biggest MacGyver fans in the world, so much so that they had a MacGyver convention. What was it like for you to be on the show after years of their dedication and love to you?
Just a little boy's dream come true is all. I mean, I was such a fan of, and still am such a fan of, The Simpsons and, of course, Family Guy now. I'd kind of like to do that to some degree for the rest of my life. But I don't have a voice talent like those guys do.
Very cool, such a cool guy. So Armageddon is this week.
Thanks to MacGyver, Richard Dean Anderson's had a pretty good career that just comes with one tiny regret.
It might have been wiser for me to start earlier, I think, because I was such a little vagabond, and I was hopping freights when I was 17, rode a bicycle to Alaska and back to Minnesota, and just, you know, things like that. Just hitchhiking around the country and just living life in the late 60s, early 70s. Yes, folks, that's how old I am.
He's 64 now, and while he starred on shows like General Hospital, it was MacGyver where he really hit it big, and it's MacGyver he still loves.
It's really only MacGyver who loses. Pity. A remarkable man.
More or less, he was just kind of a science guy who knew how to do things and was also a former special ops guy. Who knows that history?
Mystery.
I think that's my my creation. But yeah, I mean, aside from being just clever, there was also a concept there that you didn't need a gun to solve a problem. And in the mid-'80s, that was a unique concept.
Come down from there. You bet.
That's right, in a world of Arnie's and other 80s action stars, MacGyver stood apart. To the point where when he got another hit show in the form of Stargate, he got flack for finally picking up a gun.
Dare I ask about the men inside the compound? They were turned into eunuchs. Eunuchs as in snippity-doo-dah?
I made my excuses if I was asked to make an excuse as to how could you do that? I said, well, just, heed the signs, son. There's, a 12-legged yucky thing coming at me. I'm going to shoot the dang thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm allowed a gun this time.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm not going to look around for a rubber band and a clip.
Much like the characters he plays, it seems Richard Dean Anderson's always sort of gone with the flow, stumbling into acting because his dad sometimes directed school plays.
During rehearsals, they would have like Twinkies instead of birthday cakes, and any job I can get that will give me free Twinkies, that's what I want to do.
It's all about the catering,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely. You've been there. It is.
Good man. Hey, thank you. And I think you did it in the right order. You might as well have fun when you're a kid. Why rush into hard work?
I have a daughter. I'm a single dad, and she just turned 16. And I started telling her when she was like 12 or something like that. I said, if you're still in the house by the time you turn 15 or 16, I'll think something is wrong. So you better start thinking about traveling real quick.
And his daughter is starting to act now as well. So who knows? Maybe we'll have another MacGyver on our hands.